Alrighty, welcome back to, I believe, the 4th episode of Don't Tell Me, Bro. Back here with Mazuma 10,000, and we have a special guest again this week, as we did a couple weeks ago. Salt collector extraordinaire, SpooknJukes. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
That's
a nice title.
Hey, yes, salt collector extraordinaire. I like that, man. I just came up with that off the top of my head. You should use that in your branding. Go ahead, man.
I will. I'm going to change my name immediately. It's a little long, but that's fine.
It is a little long. So how did SpooknJukes become a gamer / streamer? We start with the general stuff and just see where it goes. So how did you get into streaming, gaming, whatever, and then specifically DVD?
I got into streaming, gosh, must have been back in 2014. I started to watch live streams for the first time. I was always into like YouTube playthroughs and stuff like that and Let's Plays.
Right.
But then I figured out what Twitch was, and I started watching people that I liked live, and I thought that was cool. And back then I did a lot of Dark Souls stuff, so I pretty much just streamed Dark Souls, a little bit of Grand Theft Auto, but it was super like casual, and my name was like something ridiculous. I remember something totally different. And then I stopped for a few years. I had to sell my PC because I was broke.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
That feeling.
And then a few years went by. I ended up meeting my wife. We sort of met online, and then fast forward, I moved here from Minnesota to Virginia in the U.S. And then we had moved into a new house. This is obviously not right after I moved to Virginia, but ended up getting a house together later on. And then I decided I want to start streaming again. So I started a channel, and I called it Logan James Games because my name is Logan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reveal.
The name reveal exclusive right here.
Yeah. So that was my first name, and then I thought it was a little bit too long, and I mostly played horror games, and I got into Dead by Daylight in the summer of 2018 because it was free on the PlayStation Store.
Right.
And I had seen some other creators that I had watched in the past play Dark Souls now had switched over to Dead by Daylight, so I knew what it was. And I was like, oh, it's free. I'll play with some friends. And then I did, and I got hooked on it. And then I started to get a lot of salt.
See, salt collector.
Yeah. Well, so I started the game. I only played Survivor, and that's all I did. And I never got any salt at all. And then I was like, let me try Killer. And then I switched to playing Killer, and I had a lot of fun with it. And then I started just getting a bunch of messages on PlayStation. And then I came up with the name of SpooknJukes because, like I said, even before I just committed to DVD, I played like Outlast and Amnesia and a lot of horror games. So I figured, I get spooked and then I juke, or if I'm playing Killer, then I spook and they're juking. So then it rhymed. So I just it was just kind of rolled off the tongue. So that's where the name came about, and that's kind of where it all started, I guess.
Right. So you had the salt content come in the messages, and then you started putting clips up on YouTube. I believe that's how I found you, is salty Survivor type videos, which I
I mean, I've always liked that. Was content that I always liked on YouTube, was like video game rage compilations, because it's just funny watching people rage over a game, and I've raged over games plenty of times, and I still have clips of me raging over games back in the day, and it's just fun because it's harmless. It's just over a game and stuff like that, and it's just kind of just fun to see just overreactions and stuff like that. So when I started getting all this hate because of playing Killer a certain way or whatever, and I just even if I didn't play, even if I played in a nice way, I'd still get tons of messages, and I was like, all right, I don't see a whole lot of YouTube channels back at the time. I didn't see a lot of YouTube channels highlighting just how salty people got in the DVD community. So I was like, I'm just gonna start posting these on YouTube because this shit's hilarious.
Yeah, they are. And plus, Mazuma just reminded me of this. I love the I guess the baby Survivor videos that we're fucking dead hard in the gens. That's fucking hilarious, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I still think about that.
Yeah, no, we actually make fun of that when we were swiffing this shit. I'll be like, I'm in the dead heart of this gin. It's gonna save 3 seconds.
Yeah, we need to have 3 seconds of cooperative action.
That's right.
Yeah, I love that. I just think it's super lighthearted. Obviously, there's a chunk of people who are really salty big surprise about that series because they're like, you're sabotaging games, you're ruining people's experience.
You're throwing it.
It's like, oh my god, shut the hell up. It's not that. It's just
you're throwing one. You're adversely affecting one game. It's like, you know,
right. And out of all the reactions I've gotten, I think there was only 2 people that like got like legitimately pissed off. And they weren't. I didn't feature them because I always ask if they want to be featured.
Right.
So
yeah. So what did you, when you were doing that type of stuff, whether it's the killer stuff or whatever, because or those Survivor games, as you got bigger and whatever, and people recognize your name after, let's say, at post game chat, is that more forgiving? You think? Are they more forgiving now than they were?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
I think I've seen clips of, you know, I've gone against streamers before, and they'll be really salty, and then they'll see it's me, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, like no way!"
Like, oh,
and they're like, "Oh, I'm not even mad anymore," and I'm like, "Oh, interesting."
Yeah, it is interesting how it matters.
If it was a random person, then you'd be really pissed off.
Yes,
but
exactly.
If it's me, I get a special privilege, I guess. But obviously, there's tons of people who still get pissed off of me, and there's I think a large portion of the community who doesn't care for me so much just because of how I play the game.
But I think that's a very interesting point, though, that you just touched on right there, because, you know, if we see it's SpooknJukes dead harding to this stuff in post game, and it's like, the thing is, because I've seen your videos, will be able to gauge your intent.
Yeah.
And because I know your intent, I would then know, like, oh, this guy does it. It's a thing where he pretends to run around. He flashlight beams the sky or whatever.
See, that became an issue. That became an issue where I would try to make these videos, and then people would, every time I'd go into a match, they would know my name. So then the most recent one I did, I did on my PC account, and I changed my name. So
Jukey Spooks was your name.
It was something super generic, like "Hello there" or something. It was just
Logan's gaming channel.
Yeah, exactly. They'll never know.
That's right.
Well,
oh, go ahead, Mazuma. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think that's a part of that's part of the problem, right? Is that in endgame chat you can't convey sarcasm, irony, good intentions, or whatever. All you see are the words, and you know, and I fall victim to this too. It's like, we just got wiped. We got one generator done, and you got 12 hooks. Literally, you had a perfect game as killer. Killer's like, good game. And I'm usually like, game for you, sir, not for us. On this side of the table, no.
I think for a lot of people, it's just like force a habit / you know, courtesy thing. Like, yeah. I pretty much say GG after any game. Like, it's just a habit. Like,
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Even if I play, if I play Survivor and I get bled out, you know, for 3 minutes, I'll be like, I'll say GG after the match. It's just a habit. Like,
I get all that, but I read it and I'm like, good game. That was not a good game, sir. I object. No, the thing is,
Mizuma's been known to get into a few tussles in post game
chat. But 90% of the
That's
time,
right.
it's exactly what you're saying, which is, hey, I'm just saying good game, and then I'm bouncing, and I'm like,
Well, that's the thing about this community, though, and some of the stuff we want to talk about is, you know, for the longest time, GGs was just GG. It's just being courteous. You know, it's just like we were talking about in the last podcast with Mazuma. We both played collegiate sports, and you say good game after a game. But now you can't say good game because people think you're being sarcastic or a little bit. That's the whole point. You cannot read intent.
Well, because
that's a big thing that I talk about too. Is one of the reasons that people get so mad is because they assume the intent of the person on the other team. So they assume that they're trying to piss them off, but they could actually be a super nice person.
No, I think 90% of the time they're just being polite.
Yeah. Or even just in gameplay in general, like they're like, oh, this person's tunneling me because I have TTV in my name, or they're tunneling me because of this or because of that. And it's like, well, maybe they're just doing it because they want an advantage in the match and they want to win.
So I guess what I was going to say is we recently had Memphis Jay on, which you guys had a little thing going on and handled like adults. We'll get into that, but I think you and him are similar in the sense of, and I'm a killer main, by the way, so I try to approach everything from a killer side, and I do play equal amount of Survivor at night with this guy and several other people, but I try to always have I got a soft spot for killer main, so because I am, and I get it. But you're kind of an unapologetic killer. You know, the camp and tunneling. You got Basement Bubba. I think you just ended your Basement Bubba Tuesdays.
Yeah, I'm still gonna play Basement Bubba. I always have to say that, but I'm just not doing the Tuesday streams
the full
anymore.
streams, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But so but basically known for, like we said, the salty reactions, the entitled toxic survivors and entitled type of mentalities. So
sure.
This kind of just happened, like you kind of already answered this in some way, but did this kind of evolve into this type of thing where you kind of expect that reaction and then you kind of went to that play style where you always just like, hey, I got to win?
I don't do it for the reaction at all. I just the Basement Bubba thing is just, in my opinion, an incredibly fun meme play style that works. Like, that's the thing, is if it didn't work, it wouldn't, like, if you do it and you get 1 or 2 kills a game and you're just like hoping for a salty reaction, that's one thing. But most of my Basement Bubba games were 3Ks and 4Ks because people would fall for it, and there's just something super satisfying about having 4 people hooked in the basement at the same time.
Yes.
There's something super satisfying about being able to just stand still and people come to you and you can just wipe out 2 to 3 people with a chainsaw at one time. It's a fun way to mix up the gameplay.
You got to do stuff to keep it interesting. I agree.
Yeah.
And I've heard you say on stream, like, if people weren't altruistic in coming in here, I would stop doing this. If I only got 1K and 6,000 points, I would stop doing this. But people,
that's 100% right.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't do that for a full, like a full Tuesday, a full 6-hour stream of me just sitting there getting 1 kill while everybody does gens. Like, that would be nobody would want to watch that.
Right.
But there were so many just funny moments, like, throughout doing the Basement Bubba stuff where people just, I don't know how, I don't know. I guess it's because I play Basement Bubba, but if there's a Bubba and there's a basement hook, I'm not going anywhere near there ever.
Right.
No, I'm just not.
Right.
Unless the Bubba downs somebody across the map, then maybe I'll go check it out. But otherwise, I'm just going to stay on gens.
Well, we play in Swift so much that one person basically is the canary in the coal mine, and they're like, no,
yep,
serious, I can see him, don't.
See, and that's a big thing. People always ask me, SpooknJukes, why don't you Insidious in the basement? Why do you always leave? And I'm like, because if they're a Swift, they're going to tell their team. So I always go outside the basement, hide behind a rock, hide behind something. And the only way they would know is if they have Kindred, because Kindred does counter Basement Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't, then Swifts fall for it almost more than anybody else because they want to save their friends. And they're like, oh, Bubba's not down here. So,
well, we have a standing rule: don't fall for Basement Bubba.
That's a good rule. Yeah, that's a good rule.
But I'm still the same. But I'm the same. Even knowing all that, I still when we're Swift, and I always want to save my teammates, and I'll die before I worried about escaping.
No, you do go for saves, and to the extent that look, I don't care about escaping or whatever. I care about getting the 1,000,000 blood points for Red Rank 1. That's it. And there's a path to getting there. And usually it includes altruism, and that's fine. But I also, I play in the sense of if you do give a Basement Bubba a 4K, it just means he's going to be like, I'm going to do this again. That was fun. Versus, why do we need to be the fun at his expense? And let's just get out and go. And not only that, it's not a fun match from the survivor side because you're leaving your one buddy on there for 120 seconds. You're doing 5 generators, you're opening, and then you're going. I mean, we literally had a game last night. The Bubba got 6,500 points. The Fang, who died, got 8,400 points because she ran him and pallet stunned him a bunch. And the rest of us got like 10,000, 11,000 points. And the killer was like, haha, fun, I win. And we were like, dude, you got 6,500 points.
You didn't.
You got 6,500 points. You were outscored by someone who died on first hook. So we were just like, that's the way we play it. Like, if you want to keep doing that, we'll take our 11,000 points and go. I view that as, let's just go to the next game. The next game would be better anyway. And, versus like, oh, we got to save someone. I'm like, because if it was me on hook, I will tell people, I do not care. Get your 11,000 points. I'm going to DPIP if possible. And just go. Let's go on to the next game. We'll have, we'll have the new Haddonfield with a crazy ass Legion. And that'll be, whatever.
God, so many Legions today.
It's the thing. And they need to change their slap attacks so they get the 5th hit insta down. And You just basically got to spread out and not be anywhere near.
Yeah, I've
someone
actually
who
played
just
him a
got
couple
slapped.
times since the buff.
Oh.
He's back though. I will say. I mean, he's
No,
definitely
he's tough. A
contender.
good legion can wreck you. It is.
And
it
the
is
music's nice. The music's nice.
Oh, it's
man.
cool. I like
It
the
is.
music.
Yeah,
And, and speaking of that, before we move on with more DBD, dude, you're in a band. I had no idea.
I am.
I
Yeah.
just found this out when you tweeted the other day. Something. I guess your new single or something coming out. You had a clip going. So I go and find out you're in a whole damn band. Villain of the Story.
Yep.
I didn't know because I saw some comments on there saying, "Oh, I knew Spooks from the band and not DBD and vice versa." So is it? How did we get in a band? Been in a band alone?
Oh yeah, I've been doing music a long time. This band I've been in for over 8 years. And I played drums in a band before that for a couple years. But yeah, been in Villain of the Story for close to a decade, which is wild. But
Very cool, man. Yeah, I was. I don't know why I'm surprised. I mean, you never know. I've always seen the drum set behind you. You were some type of musician.
I was surprised because you really don't find a lot of Kenny Rogers covers, man. I was just like, this is something new. I did not know was out there. The guys love Islands in the Stream, and fuck me, but that is a good song.
yeah,
I just enjoy that song.
it's a good one.
Kenny Rogers cover band.
Fun fact, it's not actually a
no.
We do have a couple Nickelback covers though.
See, there's nothing wrong with Nickelback. Why do people give them so much hate?
It's the same reason people complain about camping and tunneling.
I guess it is.
People hate Nickelback, but they're efficient and they sell records.
That's right.
Because
right.
it's a sheep mentality that everybody is like, it's toxic to camp and tunnel. Just like everybody jumps on board and says Nickelback sucks ass. Neither of it's true.
I don't get it. Just like they were
Nickelback,
mad when Metallica went
Yeah,
with
Nickelback is like Basement Bubba. Yeah.
They're just efficient and they're there for the lulls and it works sometimes.
Never thought I'd hear this comparison, but yeah, you're right.
I think it's a great comparison. People hate Nickelback, but I'm like, why? Why do you hate them? They're great.
Well, that's cool, right, man. Yeah, I checked out your channel and watched a few videos and songs. Really cool, man. It's cool to see. Sounds good, man. I enjoy it. That's why the Legion was perfect. Maybe you can get with Behavior. Get some Legion music in there, man.
I don't think so. I don't. I don't think. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think Behavior likes me that much.
Yeah, well, they don't like anybody that actually.
Well, did they
opinions.
Did they take away your Twitch cosmetics?
I never had any. I never did the shirt my Survivor thing.
God, even back in the day when I had, a bigger the gaming thing has always been a side thing for me. I'm on YouTube, but for other stuff. But
Game of Thrones,
primarily. But before it died and killed everything. But yeah, I back in the day you could always apply to get those, and they always just replied and said, "No, you're not big enough. You suck." So, but I was surprised to see them go that petty and take away Dowsy's shirts, man.
I know.
Having a fucking opinion. I mean,
it was such a way for them to show their colors, though.
It really was.
It was great. People had their opinions about them and how they take criticism, and that was just like, yep, they can't take criticism.
No,
not at all.
I mean, come on, man. You're talking about let's flex here and take away his fucking t-shirts and
woo, yeah. You don't have a Twitch cosmetic.
I can't believe that they did that without thinking that it was going to turn into a big thing, because I mean they should have known that he would have been able to milk that and make videos out of it, which is just genius. I would have done the same thing. It's just such a funny situation.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's only Dowsy, one of the big time creators. Speaking of streamers and all that good stuff, so I guess a lot of what you do and some of your content is kind of based around kind of calling out toxic streamers or whatever you want to call it. I think Matthew Santoro was the probably the biggest example, the guy at least I knew about. And now he's kind of been, I don't know, redeemed, for lack of a better word, and all that stuff. So how did all this kind of stuff come about, as far as like calling out what you believe to be inappropriate or whatever it may be?
I mean, so it started out videos of streamers and stuff. It was streamers that I went against, and and I'd
Right.
go against them, I would hide their names and stuff, and I would just,
Mhm.
they saying mean things about me or coming into my chat or whatever, just funny interactions that from my games. And then with the Matthew Santoro thing, there was just so many people that were messaging me about it.
Right.
But I think first what I did was I started I had this series called the Top 5 Salty Reactions that I don't do anymore. And it's an idea that I had where since I posted my stuff going against streamers, I was like, oh, if you guys have, want to share your experience against salty or toxic streamers, you can send them to me and I'll feature it in a video and make a, react to it and stuff like that. And I had so many people sending me Matthew Santoro clips, and
Oh wow!
and a lot of them,
yeah.
There was a video or two about him on YouTube as well, and
Yeah,
so,
there's a lot of videos on him. Yeah,
yeah. So it kind of blew me away, and I was, since he was a bigger streamer, I was like, there's no point in hiding his name or anything because people know who he is. And so there was a couple smaller streamers that were sort of targeted by him at the time, and that's what gets me. And if you watch my videos, a lot of it is me like, I make the videos because I'm defending people who are just getting shit on. So that's where it came from, was just sort of seeing that and how he had the influence that he was having at the time and the effect that it had on other smaller streamers. And I just, as somebody with somewhat of an audience, I wanted to just sort of be like, I don't think this is cool.
Right. So it's kind of like, from your perspective, it's more of less of a call out of the person or whatever, but more of a defense of the small streamer who experienced it, that type of thing.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, yeah, if you look at almost any of them, it's defending somebody who had it, because they'll send it to me, or like people will send me stuff, and I there's so many things that I don't make videos on that are still pretty shitty, but if they're not like, if I don't feel like someone's really been attacked or something, then I don't feel like it's worth it, because people are constantly going at each other in this community. So, but yeah, that's where it started, I guess. And
well, did you feel like, well, I mean, I guess let's just, and not specifically Matthew Santoro, just the context of the situation was, you maybe felt like someone with more viewers and a bigger base was belittling or bullying someone else and using as part of that, oh, you're a tiny streamer, fuck you, you suck, and all that other stuff.
To me, like, thinking about it, it's such a bummer to think about somebody who is picked on by somebody with an audience or with a larger audience,
right?
And nobody stands up for them. So they just are just basically getting shit on, and maybe they have a friend or two that are like,
me and my mom and my niece are sitting here watching my stream, and this guy's shitting all over me. Right.
Yeah. And then their viewers start messaging, and then it's just becomes that one of those sort of things. So I just was like, since I already talk about toxicity, and since it's already a normalized thing as far as toxicity in the community, I figured I would use my channel to sort of be like a place to combat it in a sense.
Right.
I mean, I know that, I don't know. Toxicity is one of those things it's hard to
define.
Yeah,
exactly. Because like you said, obviously in the streamer's case, they're saying it live in some cases, but obviously, chat, in-game chat or whatever, you can't get all that intent and nuance and inflection and all that stuff. So it's complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of that, I guess, so just, we had Memphis Jay on a couple weeks ago. And then Jay, to me, was, I originally did a video on him reacting to, or I guess, a game breakdown, because I kind of enjoy breaking things down and whatever. And not that I'm some expert killer, but I mean, you always get that good feedback from a third person point of view. And I broke down a game of his, and then that's how I started. I got a few more views on that, because he was an up and coming. He just got partnered not long ago and all that good stuff. So he came on, but recently he did a video that I thought was pretty questionable. You kind of called him out on it. He responded. Then y'all got together like adults and handled it. What went down with all the thing with Memphis Jay? Because oddly enough, Matthew Santoro actually raids him a lot and stuff like that. They're like good friends. So everything's kind of getting connected here with the stream.
Yeah. Well, first of all, with the Matthew Santoro thing, I think Matthew Santoro is a good guy. I think he's a sweet guy. I think his turnaround has been awesome. I think he genuinely was in a really bad place when that stuff happened. And that's why, I never leave this stuff up. It's not about views. It's not about money. If it was, the Matthew Santoro video by now would probably be, it would be over 1 million views. It was pushing 700K after a couple months. And I could have left it up and just been making thousands of dollars on it, but it's not about that. If I see that he is like a genuine guy and, he was just in a shitty time and he feels bad about treating people wrongly at that time, then I want to be like, there's no reason for me to keep this video up that's going to keep getting a bunch of views and then people are going to go hate on him. It just doesn't really sit right with me. But as far as the Memphis Jay thing, which is sort of similar, it resolved a lot faster.
Right.
But you said that you saw the video, so you know which one it is. But essentially, he made a video where he played with a survivor. The survivor was messing around a little bit, spinning in circles a little bit, moonwalking a little bit. And Jay felt like they weren't doing enough in the match, and he thought that they were very similar to other DVD creators that he wasn't a fan of. So he went back after the match because they lost the match, and he wasn't very happy about it. And he analyzed everything that this streamer did, and then he sort of wasn't really an analysis. It was more like just making fun of him.
Right.
But what really bothered me was that the streamer didn't do anything bad, and they were super chill. It was their first game of the day. And not only that, but they did the most out of the whole team. They got the most points out of the whole team, which I thought was very, very ironic. So I made the video. He sort of fired back pretty quick, and the initial response was pretty juicy.
kind of a double down.
He doubled down on it, which I honestly I did expect that. I was expecting him to. And then I made another response very quickly again back because I knew that he was going to be posting one. And so I watched it and then I gave my thoughts. And then he had a rest. He got some sleep and then thought about it for a while. And I think he just read a lot of it. It wasn't just me. It was so many people. Like, I mean, even you said you thought it was kind of in bad taste, but there was so many people that thought that video.
Yeah, there were a lot of comments. You can see
a lot of comments that were like
little different than usual.
Yeah, you're like, you're just kind of shitting on this guy, and he didn't do anything. And so then he just took responsibility and was like, hey, you know what? I'm looking at it from a different light now. Not from me being salty from losing that match and then wanting to call him out for doing nothing. Like stepping back, I can see that I was just making fun of the guy. I don't want to be that kind of guy. So then he took down the video and he apologized to the guy. And I thought that was cool. And so it was that same sort of thing that I talked about with the Matthew Santoro thing where I was like, okay, well, I don't really feel like I need to have my video up then if he deleted it, if everything's good. So I DM'd him on Twitter and I was like, hey man, saw your apology. I think it was really genuine. Like that, that's really cool of you. And then we hopped in a Discord call, talked things out. And then I took down both my videos. He took down his response to me. And yeah, it was just it was resolved within 24 hours. It was really the fastest resolution ever.
Because I thought for sure it would go on a little longer because everybody loves drama in some way, and I don't know, but I will say Jay's seems like a really cool guy. He seems to be open to criticism. When I did our first react, found him on the Aaron stuff. I always say Aaron. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Did you see that he deleted all those?
No, not the Aaron stuff. He did.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea. So I guess he's over that stuff too.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But
I guess he's just moving forward from that, which I think is good. I don't know that he necessarily. I mean, if he didn't delete it, I don't think that's the big deal. But I think it's good that he's moving on from it because I think after the copyright strike was settled and stuff like that, I don't think there was any need to keep beating that horse.
Well, that's the initial video I responded to on mine was, in that case of the original video where Aaron. And by the way, we need to get one of these toxic survivors on here. We'll definitely do that. I want to hear their point of view too. We've had all these killer mains, but the initial one. I mean, in that situation, Jay was, in my opinion, right for the most part as far as that particular game. but there was their issue or whatever, and then it becomes like a grudge thing, I guess. But Jay seems to be like really open to criticism and evolving that type of thing. So that's good. I mean, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it all worked out. So
as opposed to like a kid who holds a grudge for years.
Right.
So I when I made that, I was like, because that's when actually I did the video. Not after the A Run video, I did the video on the game breakdown where he was playing Blight, and Blight's not his main killer, and he actually commented on that video, and I was surprised. That's when I actually invited him on the podcast the first time. So he was like, "Yeah, appreciate it, man. I appreciate the breakdown. See it from somebody else's eyes, blah blah blah." So it was really cool to see that that squash really quick.
Yeah, I'm glad it did too. It worked out. We both rated each other a couple times since then, and been popping in each other's streams, and it's just good vibes now.
Yeah, that was my experience too. We interviewed him. He was a extremely pleasant and genuine guy, and I thought that one video was a little out of character, but I also view it as some of your content's not going to be great. I don't love every Star Trek episode.
Well, I told them the same thing. There's plenty of videos that I've made and I've since deleted because I'm like, I sounded like an asshole. I didn't like how I edited the video. I didn't like whatever. So I mean, it's just part of making content. You're gonna
oh sure,
you're gonna hit the mark, and sometimes you're gonna be way off the mark. So
but
I know, like it's like you said, he just recently became partner. He actually just recently quit his job and went full time.
Right.
And that was a huge thing for me, a driving force between wanting to resolve it and delete my videos, because I was like, look, I don't want, he just went full time. I don't want this to be like a stain of his reputation. I don't want this to be a stain on his career in any sort of way. Like he's got a family. He's got,
No, so, it's his livelihood. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, yeah, sure, you were an asshole, but let's resolve this. And he saw it and he was like, he just acted like a gentleman afterwards, and it was great. So again, yeah, just glad we resolved it.
Yeah, it's a scary thing, man. It really, going from, somewhat stable in a regular job or whatever to jump into content creation, whether it's YouTube streaming, whatever it may be. It's a scary thing, man. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
And so, you're very protective of that because you don't know when the bottom's going to drop out. So
yeah.
So I understand trying to also, I want to really take a look at myself here and then take this video down, whatever it may be.
No, I mean, I think that, so far, we've talked about a lot of things here. I mean, I guess, we've kind of just touched on it right now, which is, and we ask a lot of people about this too. It's, there's a crossover in something between competition, collegiate wrestling, and then entertainment, WWE. And I hate to ruin it for all the WWE fans, but the WWE is not real. It's entertainment.
It's not.
Hey, you got to be a tough motherfucker, though.
No, I'm not saying.
Stunts are real, but
it's not. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not real competition. So for some of us, I mean, I play the game competitively, but at the end of the day, I turn off the game and it's just a game, and then I go watch, whatever cooking channel or whatever.
Friends, you watch reruns of Friends. That's what
I'm really into season 2 of the Golden Girls right now.
My wife and I are watching Friends for the first time now. And
I've never watched it, man, but Golden Girls I love. Absolutely love Golden
Friends
Girls.
Is so good.
I didn't know episodes.
Like it. Yeah, my wife and I, we just started watching it, and
she
got me hooked on it.
More of a Seinfeld guy, but
she's giving me this look like, yeah, I did. Yeah, you got me hooked. We're gonna watch it later, probably. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I know you mentioned that that you're a competitive player, but you get saucy in the end game a little bit, right? See, I feel like as a competitive player, you have to. I guess you don't have to, but you should respect if the other side is going to sweat their ass off too.
Well, I think that I try and at least. So look, 2,500 hours into the game versus 500, different levels of frustration, learning the game, adjusting to everything, whatever. 2,500 hours in, I try and make it at least have an angle of humor to it, right? So when
Mhm.
someone says good game, I'm like, yeah, it wasn't a good game for me. So I'm like, well, good game for one of the 5 of us, like
Yeah.
I try and make it like, look, I'm obviously irritated, but you did.
Yeah, and I don't think
blah,
there's
blah.
anything wrong with any of that stuff. Like I don't
Like,
think there's
the-
anything wrong with
The
like
hardcore,
yeah,
go
it's
fuck
just being
yourself. I don't do that
Right.
anymore.
yeah.
You get 2,500 hours in the game. You shouldn't be seeing new stuff that surprises you in the game. So whatever. But anyway.
And even if
Anyway.
you did say go F yourself, I mean, it's a little bit harsh, but I don't think I would never. That's one thing people say to me about like my videos about people that like, oh, you don't want anybody to get mad at it's like, no, look at what the people are saying in my videos. They're saying horrible things to people.
Right.
It's not just saying F you or F off. It's like horrible things.
Oh yeah, no.
And I'm just the point is that's not that serious at all.
Yeah, but
No,
that's also
no.
the internet culture, right? I mean, keyboard warriors, you can say whatever,
Oh yeah,
and
the
anonymity,
mask and anonymity. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I talked about that on stream today where I was like, it'd be totally different if it was like a sport or something in person. These people, 99% of these people wouldn't say a word, but it's just the fact that they're behind a screen, so they're safe and they're, they're.
Well, one of the greatest Twitter exchanges I ever saw was like an MMA guy versus just some random troll. And the guy was like, you got your ass kicked in that match. And the MMA guy was like, why didn't you see that to my face? He's like, no, you kill me in real life. That's why I'm saying it on Twitter.
Exactly.
At least you can admit it.
Exactly.
At least they can admit it.
Real life, you beat the shit out of me. That's why I'm saying it on Twitter.
Yeah. Super true.
But it's the things where I play killer 100 hours out of 2,500, right? So I'm not good and I don't try to be good. But I've gotten 4Ks and I've had people with the go unalive yourself comments. And I'm like, really, dude? Like,
right.
Really, dude? Like, simmer down, bro. Like, because whatever, we all go through our emotional ups and downs. It's just human.
There's a video that I'm going to make probably this week. That's a streamer said, and their friend said stuff like that to it.
Go unalive yourself. Yeah. And it's like, I'm happy enough that I'm 2,500 hours into the game. I know that I'm not playing killer seriously. I'm trying to get a daily done. It's like freaking hit people as Deathslinger. And I'm like, why the fuck are you doing this to me, game?
Yeah.
And and so whatever. And then they're like, go do this to yourself. And I'm like, guys, A, you just lost to a killer with 100 hours. And B, like, what like imagine like again, like it's just like it shows zero maturity and zero empathy for someone who's just like who just beat you in a game, by the way. But like, yeah, I mean, so that's why I try and have a little bit of humor.
Favorite, dude.
Yeah.
I beat people as Basement Bubba, and they're like, "You're so awful. You have no skill." And I'm I'm like, first of all, I know that. I'm not very good at the game. Second of all, you just died to a killer standing still, doing nothing.
Exactly.
And you still lost. So if I'm awful,
they don't realize how much they're talking, what they're saying about themselves.
Yeah, they're always insulting themselves when they say that. Because like, yeah, you lost to a killer that's not that great.
Yeah.
So, good job.
Well, that's what we're going to say is, me and Mazuma have talked about this. I think you said in a lot of your stuff that you don't see DBD as competitive. Mm-hmm. I personally see it as competitive just by nature, being asymmetrical, PvP, whatever. Now, of course, it's up to each individual how seriously they take that, obviously. So, I mean, we always say we're all for anybody playing how they want, but
I think in terms of the PvP, anything can be competitive if you're a competitive person, but I don't think by nature it's meant to be a competitive game. I think that would be like saying Monopoly or Mario Party is supposed to be competitive. Like there's just so much RNG. There's so much that goes into
okay. Now I get where you're coming.
There's so much that goes into every. Like you never know what perks people are bringing. Like your perks, the tiles that spawn in, the hatch, literally everything is so RNG dependent in every game.
Why did I get a killer with Ruin in the fucking swamp and the totems in a fucking corner? Great.
Yeah.
Right.
No, 100%. That's absolute fact.
And the people that are like, they should put in a ranked mode. I'm like, no, please, God. First of all, it's going to make everybody's queue times like way worse.
Oh, yeah.
Way worse. I mean, queue times can already be bad enough, especially for Survivor at nighttime. It's pretty bad. if you put in a ranked mode, ugh. But second of all, who's going to play it? Like 50, who wants to do? I mean, maybe some people would, but I think that there'd be like 100 people in there out of 30,000, and everybody else would.
No, you're right. I wouldn't
I
play a ranked competitive ladder system in DBD.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a handful
level
of people that like the challenge or whatever, but yeah, I mean, we're trying to. Video games are like a wind down for the end of the day or whatever, or you're a streamer, maybe you're full time, making money from it, all that good stuff. But it's in some way, it's an escape. It's supposed to be relaxing. DBD can be both. It's cyclical for me. I hate it for a month and then I love it again. But I'm just naturally competitive, so I do go in as a killer trying to. Am I going for a 4K? Yes. Do I expect one? No.
I'm the same way. I am a competitive person.
Yeah,
I am. And my wife is competitive too, and we you guys ever play Clue?
Yeah,
Of course.
of
course.
She taught I'd never played Clue before, but I knew what it was. But a few years ago, she taught me how to play Clue. And now we play as a family, and I win every time, and she hates it.
I told Mazuma, I have a 21-year-old daughter, and when she was little, every night we laid in the floor and we played tic-tac-toe and hangman and stuff. And I never let her win. I wanted her to be the kid who earned it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I believe we live in a weird time where they don't keep score at baseball games, and it's like, no, you need to be hurt.
Yeah, you need
Emotionally
to know how to be a good
grow.
Yeah,
You need to be a gracious loser.
Exactly.
Be a gracious loser.
You really do,
Exactly.
because it's a bad way to teach people that you always
win.
You always get your way, and that's just like the worst way to set anybody up for life.
Absolutely,
yeah.
100%. I don't
mean,
like this
God,
concept, man. Of
it just makes everybody spoiled, you know.
Yeah,
and that's
participation trophies.
God, if there was if there was one word to describe, I want to say the DBD community, but I almost feel like it's a lot of gaming communities. But it would be spoiled.
Sure.
It would be spoiled or entitled.
Spoiled,
Yeah.
entitled, unempathetic, selfish. Like, you know. Oh, so I wanted that dovetails in with something. It's because, you know, we talk about a lot killers being toxic in endgame chat, and I got to tell you now, 2,500 hours in, it's the survivors in other survivor matches that irritate the fuck out of me more often than the killer. Because the killer, if the killer says GG easy, they're being a smart ass, and you're like, go fuck yourself. And then you just leave on game chat, right? Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the killer, it's the survivors, you know, just touching on a recent incident and not naming the people, but it's like sometimes you're like, why is this guy hiding in a locker? Why is this guy urban evasioning at the other corner of the map while I'm on hook and the killer's can't face camping me? You know,
do you want to know why? Do you want to know why? Because that person urbans around every game and gets hatched, and their MMR increases.
Oh,
so,
fuck yeah!
And so that person, that's why MMR doesn't work at all, because it's just escapes.
If you run the killer for 5 generators and die in first,
you're not skilled, man.
Is that really a skilled play? You know?
Yeah,
so great.
No, hey, watch out! You get your Twitch shirts removed.
Oh
that's
no,
right. That's right. We're not big enough to have Twitch shirts.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I think it's just the survivors who are shitting on other survivors for all sorts of different reasons.
I see it all the time. Yeah, I see all that's the thing, and I mentioned that a lot. I have about close to 3,500 hours, and like I said, I started as a Survivor main. I do still play quite a bit of Survivor, but I play more Killer because it's what my viewers like more. But and I'm starting to play more Survivor now because I love Survivor. I like playing Survivor more than I like playing Killer.
It's fun.
It's so much fun. And,
it is. And you damn sure don't go in like, I can tell you, you know this as a Killer main. You start a Killer game, especially if it's not somebody you're really comfortable with, and you automatically just have these doubts. You know, is it going to be a sweat squad, a 4-man Swift flashlight click gang? You already feel behind before you even start the game. But as Survivor, you feel no pressure.
You're chilling.
You're just no pressure at all.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Survivor is. I said it, and I don't think this is for everybody. This is how I feel, and maybe it's because I've played so much Killer. But I feel like I can die as Survivor with 5 gens up, and be less stressed out than a game where I win as killer.
Yes, 100%.
Because even if I win as killer, I still feel like the journey to win that game, I was like, okay, which gens? Okay, which survivors? Who's healed? Who's healing? Who's where? You know, it's like you have so much on your mind. Where survivor, you're like, all right, I'm on this gen. Cool.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna hold down this button until this gen's done.
Yeah,
and that's all I'm gonna do.
Exactly.
Oh, somebody's on a hook. I guess maybe I'll go. Maybe I won't. I'll give it a few minutes. Oh, they got saved. Cool. I'm gonna just keep chilling.
And that's typically how my streams go. My streams are mostly killer because that's you know, for me it's more I can focus on that game. I don't have people in Discord, so I'm focused on chat, that type of thing. But then after the stream's over, I mean, not that I don't ever play Survivor on stream, but I do, but not often. But then after the game's over, then I'll wind down by playing Survivor with these guys, you know, after the stream's over, because I'm tensed up the whole damn time. Plus, you know, you're in front of, you know, in my case, it's only 15, 20 people, whatever it may be. But, you know,
so you're in front of an audience.
Yeah, it adds another layer of performance anxiety, I guess you want to call it. So yeah,
I definitely feel that.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy.
I only stream Survivor. I stream 2 games. This guy wants me to play fucking nurse. I
want you to appreciate the power of the nurse and huntress.
You want to see a 72-year-old guy blinking into rocks for 20
minutes?
Yes,
I do. Exactly what I want to see.
Right, thanks a lot.
I want to see exactly what I want to see. No more Wraith, man. Play some nurse.
Hey, clown enthusiast.
That's right.
I love Clown.
Not a clown
I do
name,
too. He's a.
But I support his cause.
This is the inside joke with the clown enthusiast thing. He's a clown main that won't want to admit he's a clown main. Hey, I love Clown.
I used to only play Clown.
I played a lot of Clown when he came out, and I played recently.
He is
fun. He's not the greatest, but he's fun.
He's not good at all. He's garbage.
Yeah.
He's fun though.
But
yeah, he's fun to play.
But that's what I mean. I'm playing so much nurse and huntress where I'm playing it, you know, competitively in my head at least.
No, those
and then I go to Clown that I don't really play that well, or now Legion or Pinhead or whoever it may be. It's a hell of a lot more relaxing, and my MMR is supposed to be a little lower, so I guess that helps too. Although apparently there's really not that far off, but we don't really know how that works anymore. I was just going to ask you about the overall state of the game, about balance. I mean, what do you think of, you know, boons, specifically Circle of Healing? What do you think? What's some changes you'd like to see? Do you think it's definitely Survivor-sided, at least Swift, in regards to Swifts? You know, you mentioned not putting in a competitive mode, but would you be interested in at least the idea or the concept of something like where you could choose to play against Swifts or not, or something like that, or anything like that? You ever thought about?
Well, first off, I don't think the game is Survivor-sided.
Interesting.
In general, or against Swifts, or against solo queues?
In general.
Okay.
In general, public lobbies, I don't think it's Survivor-sided. I think when you go up against a 4-man Swift with meta perks that are super efficient, then you are probably going to lose, unless you are a high-level nurse with infectious fright and you slug everybody. I mean, yeah, I as somebody who is not that good at the game and who can consistently get 3 or 4Ks standing still, or I don't know.
Well, altruism kills, sure,
yeah. And that's the thing too about Swifts is a lot of them are altruistic, and that's their demise.
Yes,
it's the really efficient Swifts or the comp Swifts. Those are the ones that make it really difficult. And I would say maybe when you do go against them, the game does favor them. Yes, but I think that I don't go against them very often. It's very rare that I go against a full-blown sweat squad. I mean, I'll go against teams that are really good or really efficient, but I never feel like I just have zero chance unless it's because of me, because I'm playing a killer like Trickster that I'm really bad with or something. But yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think Swift should have any sort of nerf. I don't think gen speed should take longer. And maybe having the option to have, no, I don't think so, because I think most killers would probably turn that on, and then every Swift, any person who's like, hey, I just got off work, I want to hang out with my friends and play some Dead by Daylight, they're just going to be sitting there for so long.
Right.
And that's what I hate about the idea of nerfing Swift is it's like most of them are people who are just hanging out with their friends. Like, sure, there are some that are like, they go in customs together and they practice and they sweat, and it's like, whatever, that's them wanting to just, win every game, and good for them. But most of them are just people playing with their friends. And I think the idea of punishing people for playing with their friends is just bad. And I'm not behind it personally.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just in concept, because obviously.
Oh yeah,
be a
I
horrible
wasn't.
idea.
No, I wasn't saying you were saying that.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people say like, "Oh, we need to nerf Swift," or when people are in a Swift, gens need to take longer, or this or that. And I just don't think punishing people for playing with friends is the answer, because those are the people that are just, trying to have fun. I mean, I guess everybody's trying to have fun, but I don't know. And a lot of people are surprised by that opinion, because I guess I'm a killer main. But yeah, I used to think more that the game was survivor sided back in the day, and I guess just over time I've changed my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying that's just my experience playing the game, because it's all opinions.
Yeah, because I mean, in concept, like you're saying, you the original concept anyway is you're loading up, you don't have any communication, but the Swift obviously changes that, so they're using third party Discord, whatever. So it obviously is an advantage there, but I mean,
for sure they have an advantage in that sense, yeah. But
and now they're trying. I think the devs are trying to they're doing these questionnaires. I don't know if you saw that come out a couple of weeks ago, and they're asking, should we implement some kind of system where you can tell your teammates in some way, hey, I'm working on the gen, or I'm being chased, or whatever, trying to make, I guess, essentially buff solo queue in some way, to bring it up to kind of Swift level stuff, which please don't do that. But
I think I'd be okay with some sort of like a pinging system, just like,
right.
I don't know. VHS had that for theirs, but they also have proximity voice chat. Or was it proximity, or was it just voice chat? I don't remember, but they have voice chat too. But they also have it to where you can just sort of ping things like, "Oh, I'm being chased," like kind of like what you said.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be totally against that. I think it'd be cool to see it a PTB at the very least, just to test it out.
Sure.
Because solo queue can be, I mean, I like solo queue just because I like the randomness. I like going into a game and not knowing what's going to happen. I think that's kind of a fun thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get that, but I also get games where 3 people insta-Kobe and die on first hook. The killer comes into my stream afterwards and is like, "What the fuck just happened?" I don't know either, bro. I don't know either.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have some
left.
Yeah, I definitely have some rough solo queue games, but when I play Survivor, I'm pretty much only do solo queue. I don't really do Swift. Sometimes I'll queue up. Sometimes I'll queue up with people like me and Matthew Santoro queue together on Sundays. But we don't do voice comms or anything. We just queue up together and play.
No voice comms. Keep the
yeah, not even for any particular reason. I think it's just because we just I don't really know. We've done voice comms before, but I think we just like it more where it's like we both just are just playing together, and then every once in a while,
after a while, you honestly don't need them all the time. You start just knowing the people you're playing with and what they're going to do.
Yeah,
I know if I'm on a hook that Mazuma's going to stay on that gen for 20, 30 seconds, whatever it is. I know he's on his way at some point. I don't necessarily have to tell him that. It gets to a point if you're playing with the same people anyway.
Yeah,
obviously.
I would say that all those are good ideas, but maybe not the behavior development team coding that and implementing it. Maybe there have been some history of bugs out of their stuff, but
really,
I
don't know about that.
No, maybe
it's been out for 6 years, man. Come on,
the game's perfect. Yeah, the game's obviously perfect. I just think though, Spook. I think there are a lot of people who do feel that the game is survivor based. And in response to that, I feel like there's a killer meta shift out there where people really do feel like, I'm just tunneling because this game is survivor friendly, so I got to do this to take a person out. Blah, blah, blah.
What it is.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's because people say the game is survivor side, and it's because you're not willing to tunnel. that's because you're not willing to camp. If you're playing for 12 hooks and you play nice, yes, the game's survivor sided. I agree.
There you go.
If you don't,
Yes.
okay, I should have clarified that. If you're not trying to win, yeah. Yes, the game is survivor sided.
Okay,
But-
there we go.
I did that Odd Starver challenge where he did the 30-second AFK no perks.
No
challenge.
perks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that, and I'm not that great of a killer. Like I'm not high level. I had a 3-kill average with no perks, and a 30-second head start because I camped and tunneled and slugged and whatever.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
So no, the game isn't survivor sided. But if you want to play nice, then yes, that's your choice to play nice, and they will probably have a better chance of escaping.
No, 100%. Yeah, and that's me, man. I do selectively camp and tunnel. Like it's always, but it's selectively. I try not to because I don't know.
He tunneled hooks. One game he tunneled.
Yeah,
hooks.
apparently. I did a whole video on somehow I tunneled an actual inanimate object.
Tunneled the hook, yeah.
Yeah, I did a whole video on that. One's fun. But now we're friends. Hey, we're all made up.
Yeah,
They're hanging out
Good.
on stream.
It's all good. It's all good.
That was cool. That was cool though. But no,
I don't
do
camp and tunnel
selectively.
every game either. People think
Yeah.
that I do, but it's if I get a hook, and then 5 gens are still up, that person gets unhooked. I'm 90% of the time not going to tunnel that person. Only time that I will is if I had like 4 sweaty matches beforehand, and I'm like, okay, I want an early start so that I can have a chill
Right.
game.
Let
Then
me
I'll
get
do that.
ahead.
Yeah.
Let me get ahead and figure out
Exactly,
what-
because sometimes you got to do that. Especially if you notice there's a weak link, you're like, all right, I'm going to get this baby Dwight out of here immediately,
Right.
and then I'm going to chill with the rest of the 3, and I'm just going to go. Then I'm not sweating. But otherwise, the only time that I tunnel is if I get a hook. If I get 1 hook and then there's like 2 or 3 gens done already, I'm like, okay, I've got catching up to do. Like,
right. Okay.
I can't like if they have 40 to 60% of their objective done, and I have 1/12 of my objective done. So
Yes.
I'm gonna tunnel. Yes, that's what.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. That's I do it selectively and it's situational, but it just because going out and catching the first person and trying to at least get them to second stage, which is kind of a dumb move anyway, but in general. But if I still, even though I don't subscribe to a survivor rule book and any of that bullshit, it still makes me feel bad sometimes because I know I try to be empathetic. There are actual people on the other end of that. But anyway, that's my fault. But yes, I do put undue pressure on myself in those.
And I'm totally the same way. But I think the part of me that doesn't feel as bad is because as survivor myself, it doesn't bother me. I think if I hated being tunneled or hated being camped, that I'd probably be less likely to do it. But since like I kind of enjoy being face camped and tunneled as survivor, I think it's
okay. All right.
Well, we do enjoy like especially end game. We'll play, somebody gets hooked or no ed. Oh no ed. We love going against no ed. We actually love the challenge of okay, I'm going to find this totem, and then we're going to bum rush from both sides,
Right? Yeah,
and
exactly.
yeah. We actually
It is
enjoy that.
by
So,
far my favorite perk in the game.
Oh, I mean, then everyone's got
Not
like,
even close.
like the classic no-ed story where it's like I was cleansing a totem anyway, and it lit up 3/4 of the way through when the 5th gen popped, and the killer had no-ed for 3 seconds.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And
had
then
that happen like a couple weeks ago where I was going against this nurse who was like overly bad, like dramatically bad, where I was like, you're faking it.
This is a put up.
Yeah,
You
You are not real.
This is
And
like
I was streaming and I was running and I saw this dull totem and I knew the last gen was being worked on. I was like, this totem is going to be no-ed. And then in 2 seconds it lit up and I was like, yeah. And then she started blinking and insta-downing everybody like a god. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it. I mean, it was like, she was like vaulting and like looking
that's
around
the
really-
super Alf move. He hides and plays baby nurse, and then boom, he's down
It's
there.
fun. I've done the same thing.
Flashlight saving, beaming straight up at the killer.
Oh, yeah.
But on the other side, that I've seen people where I'll go in and I'll see like this guy, this Dwight, whoever, some survivor, and you're chasing them around like, yeah, they're definitely brand new or fairly new. They can't path and they don't know what to do against a particular killer. Then all of a sudden you meet them sometime down the after 4 or 5 gens are done. All of a sudden they know how to run. They got dead hard. They found a flashlight. What the hell? What happened?
I've
Were
had
you
that
playing fucking noob? I guess. I don't know.
too. Yep.
Yeah, we do. We did for sure. We need to get a quote unquote toxic survivor and get some of their opinions because we're mostly killer. I mean, Mazuma here is the survivor. Man, he does killers challenges, but And I play just as much Survivor, but
well, I'm a Survivor main who gets annoyed by other survivors because
yeah,
pains in the asses.
yeah,
Like, I'd much rather have a toxic killer just whatever spamming in-game chat.
Yeah, I teabag and click as Survivor, so I don't even, none of that bothers me as killer.
Oh no, I don't teabag or click. I just whatever.
I do.
It's not.
I do.
Well, I believe in some level of sportsmanship, so I'm just like, whatever. Let's just leave.
Oh, I don't usually do it. I don't usually do it in the end game, or the. Sometimes I will, but if if it's been a saucy match, but I do it because I want to get chased really badly.
Oh, okay, all right. You're the clicky follow me.
Yes, I like to be tunneled. If I can be chased all game and not do a single gen and die, I am all for that because I think everything else, like sitting on gens, is boring. Healing teammates is boring.
Wait, holding M1 and spacebar?
Well, that's what I was going to say earlier.
For me, it's R1. Okay.
Oh, he's a console. That's right. But
I'm a
got
PS5 gamer.
He's got the secret PC backup though, so he's really
I do. Okay. That's come in handy when I've been held hostage by hackers.
That's right. Yeah, I've seen a few of those too videos. I haven't. I'll tell you what. That's the other thing I was going to ask you. I'm glad you said that. Was have you? I'm sure you have. Have you run into the subtle cheaters, man? When you get the hackers, I call them cheaters. Not even hack. They just buying these hacks for $50. Where they take over the game. It's overt, whatever. It's like okay, whatever.
It's a little bit more.
But when you get the subtle, when you're actually playing a legit game and you get the subtle shit, man, have you seen a big rise like I have? I mean, I get so now I'm paranoid and I feel like I'm like I don't want to label everybody a cheater, but there's clearly some times when they got definitely 5 or 10% speed or whatever it may be. Are you seeing a lot more of those?
I don't really notice anything in my games. I've definitely had hackers and I've had the games where people have perks equipped that they don't have equipped.
Yeah.
I had Unbreakable. It's like, I don't see Unbreakable.
Yeah, I had one game where, and they must have been subtle because I killed them, but they had all these perks like Boil Over, they had Unbreakable, they had all this stuff, but they didn't have any of the perks equipped. And then they also, every single survivor had the ability to Kobe. So everybody 4%ed that match too.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, not Deliverance. They just Kobe.
First try.
Yeah.
Every single one.
And that's not just bring salty lips. That's definitely a cheat.
there was no salty lips. There was no slippery meat. And 3 of them were on PlayStation, but there was one PC. And the one on PC was the one who had all the perks that they didn't actually have equipped.
Right.
So I was like, okay, so they have extra perks and they gave everybody else the ability to. But then I killed them at the end. So they didn't like flip on any speed hacks. They died. Yeah. So I was confused as to why. I was like, if you're hacking, why did you die?
Maybe it's like it's a double bluff there. He's like, I couldn't be hacking. I died.
Right.
Like,
yeah. I mean,
I'm pretty sure you were hacking, but I died.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos on it. It's from other content creators and streamers. I mean, it's becoming a huge problem. I don't know if these latest patches have helped out or whatever. If they say they're going to do something about it. I saw Coconuts did a video recently where a lot of people got banned on his because he opens tickets all the time for this stuff, and then he's seeing a big ban wave. So maybe they're finally addressing it. But you get one and you're like, I'm usually pretty good chaser, but I cannot catch this motherfucker. And then you compare it to another chase in the same game. It's obviously, you're going 3 rotations and catching up around a truck or whatever it may be, some loop. And then the other person's like 10 or 12. And you're like, wait, what's going on? And then you cut around the shack or whatever. And you usually see them turning the corner. They're already around the corner. So I've seen it a lot more for sure. But I get paranoid. I don't want to label somebody that, you know what I mean?
Right. I think that's what I get worried about is I would hate to be the one to.
You don't want to call someone a cheater who's just
kicking my ass.
Yeah, it's like Mazuma mentioned earlier with the video I did on this, where I apparently was tunneling hooks, whatever that means. But the game before in the same stream, I actually had cheaters, and they had went back and watched this VOD and said, "See, you're just whining because you calls these people cheaters, and then you decided to camp and tunnel us or whatever." And it's like I did legitimately have cheaters. Did you not watch the thing?
Yeah.
So it gets
5 generators done by one person in.
Yeah, there's 3 people surrounding me at all times, and 5 gens are popping. Yeah, it's
the subtle cheaters are the ones that are a bummer. I like the dramatic cheaters. I think they're fun.
No, it's
Yeah,
a
they
meme.
know.
They
Yeah,
can
they're-
fly around the map. They
Yeah.
instantly get up. Yeah.
God, I had these ones that were playing hide and seek with me. They were. I found out they came into my chat after, but I spent about 40 minutes looking for them, and they would tap. What they would do is they would go and they would tap gens, and then they'd fly into the sky.
So you were never
And
looking
so-
up, right?
Right. And I didn't
Yeah.
know if they were cheating, and I didn't want to accuse them of cheating because I was like, maybe they're just really immersed, maybe they're hiding. But I was going crazy because I was like, I would see scratch marks, and then I would go everywhere, and I was like, I cannot find these survivors. And then after about 40 minutes, they just DC'd. And then they came into chat and they were like, yeah, we were hacking, we were up in the sky. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, damn.
GG.
I gotta
Yeah.
remember that one, man. Start looking up.
Yeah, start looking up. So that was interesting. But yeah, I don't really mind. I think it's just I get hate for that too, believe it or not. I get hate because I don't get mad at hackers.
Right.
Cheaters come in and they say GG, and I'm like, yeah, good game, guys. And then people are like, what's wrong with you? You're enabling hackers. I'm like, no, what am I going to do about it? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, that's
want me
the
to be,
problem is, and unless
want me
they're
to be
changing something,
outraged?
yeah, unless they're changing something now, reporting an end game don't do anything. You
No.
have to literally open a ticket for them to even bother looking at it.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think there's any point in myself.
But that's
Getting
one of the things. That was one thing I was
enraged.
going to mention earlier too. Speaking of like cheating and reporting people and all that stuff. So your thing is kind of. I mean, you even got the cop shirt, man. You got the Myers mask and you're the Twitch police. Are you getting any pushback on being the Twitch police?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So it's a meme. It's a joke. I don't actually think I'm the DBD police or anything, but it's or the TTV police. But it's a fun meme. But yeah, people say that that I'm cancel culture and canceling free speech and all that stuff, and I think that's silly. But
Well, do you think that there should, or let me phrase this the right way, but there should be a balance between someone just venting, but not in a go unalive yourself sort of way.
here's the way I
Right.
see it.
Someone
Here's the
just
way I see
venting.
it. People absolutely have the freedom to say whatever they want and say horrible things, and I have the right to say I don't think that's cool. And I
Right.
have
Okay.
the right to defend people if they were bullied or harassed by somebody. I have the right to use my platform to say I don't think that's cool, especially since even though yes, you have free speech to go out in a public place and say those things and not have any consequences, it is against Twitch TOS to do so as a streamer, like which is why a lot of people get banned for that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm not trying to cancel anybody's speech or anything. But if I think that somebody's gotten harassed or gotten bullied or been shamed, I feel like I want to stick up for them. I don't think that's cool, especially over something as trivial as a video game. People can continue to do it. That's their prerogative, that's their right, and it's just as much my right to say I think that's shitty.
Well, yeah,
And that's what's so ironic about the people that say that I am canceling free speech, because I'm like, so you want me to shut up,
right.
but you want these people to not shut. So it's like, no, we should both be able to talk.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
express.
free speech has consequences, and
Yeah,
I-
free
and
speech
my
goes
thing
both
is-
ways. Yeah,
Right. My thing is if people are consistently like that and they're streaming and they're calling people names and they're harassing people or bullying, whatever it may be,
Mhm.
I don't understand how. I don't think anybody's watching anyway. I wouldn't think that would attract an audience. I think eventually Twitch would get a hold of that anyway. I'd imagine. I don't know. I mean, but I don't. They can
it
never
depends.
really expect to grow, would they? Being like toxic all the time.
There's
To your
there's a-
own viewers. To your
own viewers, right?
Yeah,
And
I mean,
people
there's
just-
been
I
a
don't see
couple.
how- yeah, I don't get it, man.
Yeah, I don't know how, but that's the thing is those streamers that do have an audience, they radiate that to their audience, and then they replicate that same behavior in their own matches and
Well,
so
Well, that's another big thing that we've talked about a bunch too, is that, I stream to 5 to 10, maybe 15 people. Smokes 15 to 25 people. You're obviously a lot larger. So the levels of influence are light years apart. But, people watch a streamer and they're clicky teabagging. And then they're like, hey, my favorite streamer does this. I'm going to do this too. So I'm going to go teabag in front of Mazuma and then lose the game anyway. And I'm like, what was the teabagging? What was the clicky? You suck. I suck, you suck, you lost, so whatever. But that's not the point. The point is like people take the wrong message from something you say, and for example, they might say like, "Well, you know, I believe in SpooknJukes and his message, so now I'm out there doing this stuff because he does it, and I'm going to do just the same thing." And you're like, my point wasn't for you to go bully bullies. My point for you was to be
That's
like,
a big
hey,
problem too.
Yeah.
hey, this
Yes.
shit is not cool. Like, let's all be cool. And
That's
what
a big
I did,
problem, yeah. And
what
that's
I
why I have to mention in my video, like, I don't want anybody to go.
yeah,
And that's why
don't take my message the wrong way, please.
Right.
yeah, well, I feel like it should be obvious. Like my point is like we shouldn't be shitty to each other. So
Right.
if you're seeing this and then you just go be shitty to the people who are shitty, what are you doing?
You're
What-
becoming them. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what good does that do? It doesn't make. But that's why I blur the names of pretty much anybody. The only way that I don't blur is if it's somebody that is already known enough to you can find them like
Yeah,
in a click.
yeah.
Right.
You know, then it's not really worth it. But if they're like this smaller streamer that's not gonna, you know, be able to be found, or maybe there's not a VOD or anything, then I'll blur their name or blur the webcam, pitch shift the voice, and just talk about the behavior
Mhm.
and how I don't think that we should be so mean to each other over a video game and stuff like that. But I won't put those streamers on blast because I know that there's people who don't listen to what I say when I say don't harass people. There's people that want to be hateful, despite the fact that I'm like, ugh. Some people just get off on it, and it's really sad. But
Yeah, it's like
True.
I'm a member of this club. I'm a member of Club SpooknJukes, and I'm going to go defend him in some way, even though he said not to. I know I gotta go defend him or something.
I don't even know if it's a club thing. I think it's just people.
Yeah,
People like being able to confront somebody and say, "Hey, you're wrong." It's like a moral thing where they feel like they
feel like they're on a high moral,
like
authority.
a high ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they want to, which I'm sure that my videos do make people feel that in some way, which I don't want to do that, but I mean, you can't have the effect that you want to give on everybody, I guess.
No, I think people will invariably ruin stuff, even the good stuff.
Yes.
So I guess that's the point. You know what we need? And I was thinking about this earlier. We need literally an emoji that signifies I am now joking. This is sarcasm or humor. Like this is like an emoji that signals, hey, my intent is humor. So when I say GGEZ, I'm laughing, haha, sorry. Yeah, I kind of ran you over. Versus GGEZ, you suck. Uninstall the game.
You suck.
You suck.
My philosophy is I always assume the best. I never assume the worst. Even if people say GGEZ, you got destroyed, I'm like, yeah. I say, yeah, GG, you won, or you're right. I don't know. I never go. I don't like to go there with the. Sometimes I'll get sarcastic or kind of play back a little bit, but I don't try to stoop to the insults and that stuff.
Yeah, I've said that many times to myself. I rarely get much salt or whatever, but I'll get some of that stuff, and I'm just like, just say GG, man, good game, and I try to walk away from it. But but I will say though, I enjoy calling out bullshit. I do. And so I started doing some of those videos about stuff like that. But it's not, and again, it's not the intent to call that person a bad person,
no,
or whatever. But I do enjoy calling out bullshit. I mean, that's just,
for me, it's never really about the person. It's more so about the behavior and about who it's affected.
Yeah,
for me, it's always about the people that it's affected or could affect, and the behavior itself. That is an issue,
right? And then going back to the influence thing, for me, it's mostly like the rare occasion where I get the salt or whatever for camping or tunneling, where I'm told I'm doing this stuff, and it's like you just watch the streamer that you like, and they say it all the time, and so now you just label everything when you get chased. It's a tunnel because you're being chased apparently. So it drives me crazy and I did that one video. This is not tunneling, because people just use that word. It don't even have a meaning anymore. So that kind of stuff is I enjoy calling it out. I really, honestly. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there's a fair amount of analytics, and kind of in the analytics, you have a a theory, you have a clinical test, and then you have a hypothesis, you have a clinical test, and then you get your conclusion. So in the sense of like, you want to rewatch a video and be like, well, you said this was tunneling. I say you're injured after I hit you 7 minutes ago, and you're walking toward me while I'm carrying a survivor, and you think I'm going to drop the survivor because you take a hit. That's not camping or tunneling. That's just
I have
an
some
odd choice to make when you know.
I think he's talking about a specific game here. Yeah,
I have
recognize
some
that
standards
situation.
where I will tunnel. If somebody unhooks somebody and I hit the person who unhooked, and then I'm going for them. If the person who was just unhooked runs in front of me to take a hit because they have borrowed time, I wait it out and then I tunnel them. And if they DS me, I keep going for them. Yeah. I'm like, look, dude, I wasn't gonna go for you.
I'm committed now.
Yeah, I didn't want to go for you. I was going for the person who unhooked you, but you've now intervened and made it because you didn't want me to hit the other person. So now I'm going for you.
No, I agree.
So now if you come and complain about tunneling, I'm going to say, well, you wanted
me to, didn't you?
You wanted to hit, you wanted to take the BT hit. You wanted to DS me, which is totally fine, and those are good perks. But now I'm going to go after you because now the other person's gone because you got in the way, and now here you are. You're the easier target.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I will always smack that person, at least smack them, if assuming they have borrowed time, just to make them mend, if nothing else.
No, I waited out.
Waste more time. No,
you're a waited out.
Yeah. I waited out.
Well, yeah, I mean,
because it's so obvious. Like, oh yeah, hit me.
Yeah. And they run straight towards you. You know it's coming.
I'll wait it out.
I think that's funny because Memphis Jay was like, if you unhook right in front of me, that's disrespectful to me, and I guess I will have to tunnel you now. And you're like, you come in with this BT bullshit. And you want to DS my fucking face. You're going down, bro. I will take you down to Chinatown.
I've done that same thing that Memphis Jay said, where if I hook somebody and like I can't even get 2 feet away, and
you don't even turn around, and they're just
then I'll go for the person who is on hook because I'm like, no. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah,
maybe you would think
they would learn. You would think they would learn. Like you farmed your teammate paid the price. It's almost like, I don't know, and if you ever played sports or whatever, but somebody fucks up in practice, the whole team runs instead of the person who fucked up. That's the idea. That's what Jay was saying, and I agree with 100%.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, that was his thing coming up, and when the few weeks before we got to get on the podcast with him is like, put a little respect back on the killer. That was his thing.
No, and I get it too, because if you're not afraid of the killer in that sense, if you're not, or at least afraid might be the wrong word, but if you're not wary of being around the killer, and that's what I think really irritates a lot of people about these, high MMR Swifts, that all of a sudden you get your first hook. And a gen, you haven't even got your first hook, and they've gotten 3 gens done, and boom, 3 of them around you. Someone's got the UE perk that allows you to wiggle faster, or the LED perk, I forget, and then someone else has got, the person on shoulders got boil over. You can't even get him to a fucking hook, and you're like, you've done 4 gens. This is my first fucking hook. What are you doing, guys? Come on. Clearly, you have no respect for the killer and their ability. So you're like, you know what? Fuck it. No, this guy's not getting a hook, and you're like, well, I'm getting a hook.
Yeah, I get that where people bring RPD offerings and stuff like that and do the boil over thing up in the balcony.
Up in the library. Oh yeah.
I leave them on the ground and I let everybody else go.
Yep.
That's what I do. Because they run right up there and they just sit in that corner and they're like, yeah, come come hook me. And I'm like, nope, I'm gonna just down you and I'm gonna stare at you.
Yep.
And you can bleed out. And I did that the other day, and actually they didn't get gens done fast enough. I ended up getting a 4K, even though I watched the person bleed out for 3 minutes. And then they messaged me afterward and they were like, "You're trash." And I was like,
yeah, right. Because they wanted you to DC, and they get their rocks off for you DCing, but they're
you brought boil over, and you very obviously ran upstairs to get boil over. Yeah,
I think that's my biggest issue with survivor entitlement in general. And I know that there's a lot of entitled killers, and there's killers that have rules too about silly stuff. But survivors have this thing where they're like, you need to not camp entitlement because our fun matters.
There you go.
Yeah,
our fun matters.
But it's like fun matters.
Yeah, but when are they ever like handing out free hooks or being like, I'm not going to do this gen because we've been doing gens too quick, so maybe I'll just I'll just go cleanse some totems or open some chests. I'll give the killer a break. That never happens.
No.
Survivors
No,
are.
I
mean,
okay,
yeah.
No, whatever. Sorry, it's a silly anecdote, but yeah, I mean,
Right.
I have felt bad for a killer where the guy hasn't gotten a hook all game, and you're like, all right, fuck it, I can't DPIP. Yeah, I'll go give this guy a kill or something, but whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But then you're like, for me, I'll be like, no, get out. I don't want your free fucking hook. But see, so you don't know what to do anymore because you don't know how somebody's going to take it.
I want to die, sir. I don't want you to die. Please leave.
Yeah, he's opened the door.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, but yeah, I just feel like in my experience, most of the time, survivors, even if they have a really good start, they don't really let up. I don't think that they need to, because if they want to win, that's cool. But then on the flip side, a lot of the time, survivors want killers to go easy, or like I said, go for 12 hooks instead of going for kills. And
why don't you try and pitch a perfect fucking game, sir?
Yeah, right. And I think that's ultimately the argument for killers is, I think True is on the side of he goes for hooks and other people want kills, and that's the whole. Everybody's got their own win condition, I guess, is the issue, which is fine. But that's just DVD.
I think all three of us say it the same way and the same thing. It's like, look, play however you want. That being said, if someone says, I didn't think Basement Bubba was fun and you got 6,500 points, they can say that because you played Basement Bubba that way. It's like
absolutely.
Yep.
It doesn't.
I always respect that, and I always respect people like if they're like, "Hey man, why'd you tunnel?" or "Hey, I didn't like that you tunneled." I never I don't think that's like crazy salt. I think that's just people who are frustrated and they're like, "Hey man, what the hell?" And I'll explain. I'll be like, "Oh, I'm playing Basement Bubba for memes. I do it once a week. It's just kind of goofy." And then most of the time they're like, "Oh, okay, GG," and that's it. I'm never like, "Shut up, you entitled survivor! Ha ha ha! You died." I'm always like, "Hey, dude, no hard feelings. Like I do this every Tuesday or whatever, and we're just memeing around. I'm talking to chat more because I'm just standing still, and most like 99% of the time they're like, "Oh, okay, well, GG." And
survivors don't apologize for running head on. Head on does nothing to progress the game. It's just fun. It's literally just fun.
You can. I mean, if you time it right, you can get people off the shoulder, or you can.
You got to get. I mean, I'm saying like if you're doing it and you're in a certain map and you get the
dude when the survivors coordinate it, dude, like in Shack when you're chasing, they have one survivor hop in a locker while you're.
I've done that. Yeah,
and they'll head on you right as you're about to get it down. I'm like, no.
Yes.
God.
Or there's I think it's what is it? Red Forest with the 6 locker. Or the 4 lane.
Yes.
You can just chain the head-ons. But again, like
I had one team. I was playing Basement Bubba one time.
Don't apologize for that.
Yeah, I was playing Basement Bubba one time, and I was going down. So one person was in the basement. 2 survivors ran down to get the save, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's about to be a full basement down here. But one of them dropped the flashbang. When they went across the corner, and I didn't hear it. So then, boom, I got blinded. The other one must have quick and quieted into the basement locker. Right. So while I'm blind, somebody got the save, and then I revved my chainsaw, but I didn't see because I was blinded. And then I turned around, went to go chase them up the stairs, and then I got head on, and they all got out of the basement. And I was like, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, right. You got to respect it.
You just oh God, I was praising it for like 10 minutes. I was like, that was the best.
Flashbang saved head on. And got 3 people out of the basement.
Yeah, and then they all stayed across the map. And I think I ended up still getting 2 or 3, but they didn't go back in the basement. That's for sure. Yeah. It was just it was a really cool coordinated save. I was like, damn, that was really cool.
I mean, the power of Discord.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like an unbreakable into a Shack pallet stun save. While
God. The
amount of things that had to go right for that one thing to happen was nonsense. But anyway, but no, when little things like that happen in the game, whichever side you're on, you got to be like, "What the fuck just happened, man?"
No doubt.
How did you get all of that done? Or if you ever get the golden sombrero of stuns, so a blast mine, pallet, head on, and DS in one match. I've gotten those. But again,
that's amazing.
That was me fucking around and just having fun. I don't remember if I even survived the match, but I got the golden sombrero.
Right. It's about the fun.
Right.
But no one ever
Survivor
says,
fun.
"Oh," yeah, no one ever says killer. The killer just got shit on, and I'm like,
well, I guess we've kept you long enough. Probably we've been about an hour and a half here. We'll let you get back to your fam on Sunday afternoon. Mazuma, anything else before we get out of here?
no, man, this has been fun. I
really enjoyed it.
Thanks
man.
for taking the time. Yeah, man.
Yeah, what's
absolutely.
before we get out of here? I'll definitely leave all your stuff. I mean, we might get 1 to 3 people to see you. But what?
It was just fun talking.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely leave all your links and stuff in the description on YouTube to your Twitch and YouTube and all that stuff. But you got anything going on? Anything? Whether it's DVD or the band or whatever it may be.
Not really. My stream schedule's changing, so I'm streaming more often now, which is nice. I'm doing like 7 to 8 hour streams instead of 5 to 6 hour streams. So I'm streaming longer. Other than that, everything's pretty much the same on the YouTube side, and I guess the band has an album coming out in July, and that's about it.
What about the world tour with the band? When's that?
Yeah.
No world tour yet. We're playing an album release show in August.
Where at?
In Minnesota. It's our home. It'll be a home show. I don't live there now, but the band still is from there, so we're playing in Minnesota. And we haven't toured or played since pre-COVID. We haven't had a chance to play since before COVID, so it's been a long time.
Right. Yeah. Fucked a lot of shit up, man.
So it's gonna be nice.
You know, I've been to Minnesota like 8 or 9 times. All Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Nice.
So, I know there's a whole state, obviously, but
yeah.
Well,
I don't miss
gerbil tubes that they have for the cold winters. When
you're
in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So you said you're in Virginia now, so you're 1 state away. So we're kind of neighbors, man.
Are you in North Carolina?
I am.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Near Charlotte.
Nice. Yeah. I've gosh, where is it? Alexa, are we going to North Carolina in August?
Cherokee.
Nags Head.
Oh, yeah, the Outer Banks. Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're going
coast,
we're going to Nags Head in August. It'll be actually the week or two before the album release show.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, you'll like that. If you like small fishing villages, that's the feel out there, man. It's all small fishing villages, Outer Banks. A lot of history. It's
yeah,
really
my
cool.
father-in-law got a beach house out there, and we're just doing like a little family getaway with pretty much her whole family, and then us going to. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, very cool.
Hey,
you'll enjoy it.
Don't forget your permit when you bring your guns to the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, my guns are like those little mini James Bond pistols.
Yeah, same.
That he hides in his like pocket.
The sock gun.
Yeah, the sock gun. Those are my guns.
Same here. All right. Well, I appreciate it, SpooknJukes. Thank you for stopping by, man. We'll let you go, man. Really appreciate you taking some time and hanging out with us. Yeah, man. Have a good one. We'll put all this stuff up. I'll get it together, add a little music in there, and then it'll be out probably tomorrow or Monday.
Sweet.
Yeah. Try and find him on Twitch or YouTube if you can remember SpooknJukes. Try and find him there. I don't know.
Hey, look, we'll at least get 3 viewers over there.
Hey, it was a pleasure though. I had fun.
Yeah,
Thanks again for having me.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good one, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right. You guys too. Have a good night.